Hey everyone, this is Manny. This video is about buydowns. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, should I buy down the rate? And when people are talking about this or they're asking me about this, they generally mean a permanent buy down, which is also known as discount points, which is also just known as points, paying points to buy down the rate. And I thought I'd do something to explain it on kind of like the lender side and how that works. So when people talk about points, generally 1 point is going to equal 1% of the loan amount. So on a $500,000 mortgage, 1 point is going to equal $5,000. 2 points is going to equal 2%, which is going to be $10,000 on a $500,000 mortgage. So let's see. And one of the big considerations when people are asking if they should buy down the rate or pay points is like, do you have enough money to do it? How long are you going to be in the house? And then what's the break-even point in paying for those points? And just in the market right now, does it make sense to pay points to buy down the rate? And I'll kind of explain that a little bit. If you're wondering if you're paying points or not, the best place to look is going to be your loan estimate. There are times where you could get offered like a really good interest rate, and then it isn't exactly disclosed right away that you're paying points for that interest rate. So the best thing to ask for is going to be like a fee sheet, a loan estimate, so you can go ahead and take a look to see if you are paying points. So here's a loan estimate here. This is just an example. And so if you go kind of scroll down on your loan estimate, right here, section A is going to be where you need to put most of your focus. I did another video on a loan estimate, but for the sake of this, right here in section A is going to be what the lenders are charging you. So it should all be disclosed here. So for example, 2% of the loan amount, this is your points that you would be paying, and it's $10,000. And I just kind of wrote these numbers in here just for the sake of an example. But this is where you should be looking. So the first thing I want to do is kind of show you just a mock rate sheet and what it kind of looks like. Now this is just an example rate sheet that I kind of made up. Now each lender has their own kind of rate sheets or where they pull rates from and stuff like that. And each lender has a certain amount of money that they have to make when they are kind of like pricing out loans and stuff like that. I won't get into all the details of that exactly, but maybe at the end I'll kind of give another explanation as to that and how it can make sense. Right now I'm just going to go ahead and use kind of like the par rate, which is right here. And par is generally like the zero rate, or where basically the lender's not making any money or losing any money, is kind of the way I think about it. Now, let's say, for example, you come to me, put in an application, and I'm like, hey, yeah, I can offer you a 6% rate. So that's this par rate. And you're thinking about paying points for that rate. So if you look in here on this rate sheet, for example, so par is 0, it's not making any money. If you go in this direction, it's kind of like making money on the loan. If you go in this direction, it's losing money on that rate. So you want to pay points. So 1 point is going to be 1% of the loan amount. So kind of like what I was saying, the closest to that is this 0.855. So points don't have to be round numbers. It doesn't have to be 1%. Like I can charge 0.855%, and that's close enough to a point. And what I could do is I can say, hey, I'm going to charge you 1 point, or I'm going to charge you 0.855, and instead of 6%, I can give you 5.625%. And you'll notice in that it's not a direct correlation. Like when you're paying 1 point, it doesn't mean that you're going down 1 full percent on the loan amount or on the interest rate. Right here, you know, the difference between 6% and 5.625% is less than 0.5%. And then let's say you're like, okay, I'm willing to pay 2 points. So 2 points this is about 2% right here. And so I would be able to offer you 5.375. So, and once again, that's just a little bit over 0.5% that it equates to in an interest rate drop. So you would end up paying about $5,000, or I'm sorry, $10,000 in order to drop your interest rate by 0.625. So just because you're paying 1 point doesn't mean it's coming out to be a 1% drop in the interest rate. And I just kind of showed you how that works out. So in paying about 1 point, it would drop it from 6% to 5.625%. And then paying 2 points, it would drop it from 6% to 5.375%. So hopefully that part all makes sense. So kind of like what I was saying, in that does it make sense to buy it down? Like, so one of the first things is, do you have the money to buy it down? Are you willing to pay $10,000 to buy down the rate, from 6% to 5.375%? And I mean, that really comes down to your circumstance and if you want to do that. But the big thing too is, how long are you going to be in the house? So if you're not going to be in the house that long, does it make sense to go ahead and pay the points to buy down the rate? And then based on the market right now, we're expecting interest rates to drop in the future. So generally what I'm telling people is, it doesn't make sense to pay the points when in about a year or two you're going to refinance. And math wise, I can show you. So let me bring my calculator over. So let's see. The difference here, right, and what I was telling you, let me bring this in a little. So the difference here between a monthly payment on 6%, which is going to be $29.84.54, and then you're going to subtract what it would be if you paid 2 points, $28.09.80. That comes out to be $174.74 per month. Now, if you take that and you applied, if you paid 2 points, so $10,000 divided by 174.74, that's going to take you about 57 months to make your money on it, to hit your break-even point for that. So are you going to be in the home for 57 months, or does it make sense to save your money and apply it somewhere else? And I'd say that a good lender will suggest to you, whether or not it's a good idea to buy down. I just personally don't think that in this current market it's a good idea to buy down. I don't think it's a good idea to pay points, because I think in the near future, within the next year, once the Fed starts decreasing their interest rate, mortgage rates will follow. I did a video kind of explaining how mortgage rates follow the 10-year treasury, which is affected by kind of what the Fed is doing in their monetary policy. So I don't think it's a good idea to buy down. I think it's a better idea to just go ahead and wait, and then wait a year, refinance, and get a better interest rate. Like if you have a VA loan, then in the future, we're looking at doing very low cost to essentially free refinances. And I can kind of explain that a little further if you reach out to me, and kind of how that works. Other than that, feel free to reach out, call me anytime if you want to talk mortgage related stuff, or if you want to talk real estate. I love talking to people about that stuff and